So last time we looked at how to add this background in, but we sort of looked at the background and it kind of does the job, but it looks kind of fake because obviously he appears to be just in front of the background, therefore the name background. So what we want to do is we want to have some way of masking out part of the shape so it appears to be swimming through the water, because you often don't see what's underneath the water when the person's swimming, and the way to do that is to use a sprite. So the first thing we have to do is to create a sprite. So what I've done is I've loaded the water image into Earthen View, and I'm simply going to highlight a part of that image. You'll notice I'm avoiding the white part. That's because when you input a sprite, it doesn't appear to support transparency, and therefore you can't see through the white. So what I'm going to do is instead I'm going to use this area below it, and all we're going to do is to crop the selection, so we're making it smaller. Then we're going to save it as, and sprites only support JPEG and PNG, so I'm going to save it as a PNG. I'm saving it on the desktop. I'm not going to have any transparency, so I'm pressing escape to ignore the transparency. And now what we can do is to simply add a sprite, so load sprite image from the file menu. We're going to load the sprite called water. Okay. And now what happens is we drag and we just put it roughly where it sort of matches up there. And now we have the sprite appears to swim through the water, and as a result, by simply tipping, we can make it look like the person is going to swim through the water with only their hands going, but we can still sort of bring bits up and we can still see the red, and we can do all the different strokes we want to do with it. Okay, so it's a simple matter then of just repositioning it, and if we get the sprite in the wrong place, we just grab these handles on the sprite and we put it in the right place, and then we have a very simple way of making it look like the object is behind it. But obviously remember that this sprite is just in front, and if I move down we poke out the bottom. It's just a different way of doing it. Okay, we could stretch it or we could make the sprite bigger when we put it in, but that's an easy way of doing it. Occasionally you might find that your layers will be wrong, and what you have to do is, for example, move an object behind another object. Okay, and you do that with these buttons, and it just brings forward one or sends back one, and you can do exactly the same with the sprite itself as well as with the figure. And that is how to use a sprite to mask off part of the area.